Well, don't spin around quickly with it.
The sound waves do not like that.
What makes a horror game scary? The fear of the unknown? The lack of means to defend yourself? Maybe the isolating feeling? The answer, of course, if you've been around the block, is all of these and more. Being alone specifically is one aspect of horror games that's typically super important. So why is it that some horror games let you play multiplayer? My name is Prince Mouse, and I'm going to tell you why you should be playing Lethal Company. Lethal Company is a multiplayer horror game centered around collecting scrap and bringing it back to your ship in order to sell it back to the company you work for. Along the way, trying your hardest not to die by the horrible monsters that lurk around the abandoned complexes of whatever building you're exploring at the time. That's the super horribly cut down synopsis of the game as a whole, and for what it's worth, the game is pretty simple. But like any well-designed horror game, the decisions that you make amidst the panic-inducing scenarios you'll come across is where the actual challenge is going to be coming from. So let's break it down. I'll start off by saying that if you played Phasmophobia, it's somewhat similar to that. You have equipment that you get to take with you and very limited number of inventory slots to take any amount of it. So if you're playing in multiplayer, which you should be, this game is pretty much designed for multiplayer, then you'll need to be dividing up roles for your team. Even if at the beginning of the game, everyone is the same role and it's the person carrying a walkie-talkie and maybe a flashlight running around grabbing stuff. That's totally acceptable because the only goal you have is collecting the scrap and making sure that at least one person gets off the planet alive. Look, I won't mince words here, but if your YouTube feed isn't filled with several funny and or horrifying clips of this game, then it will be by the end of this video. The game's getting more and more popular, and it has good reason to. It's an early access game with a $10 price tag, so the barrier to entry isn't very high, and seeing frequent updates for more enemies and environments and scrap and other things is definitely going to further propel this game into mainstream popularity. The game's simplicity lends itself to being very tightly designed. Even something as simple as the items have some very deliberate intent if you stop and think about why you would want them and why you wouldn't want them. In any given run-through of an area, it might not be necessary to carry a flashlight because the area is already well lit. Other items like the shovel are supplementary. Maybe you need it, maybe you don't, and you can do without it. But what if it comes in handy? Maybe it warrants taking the shovel with you because you need to kill something inside the building. Odds are you won't know until it's already too late. The one item that I would say is a must grab is definitely the walkie-talkie, because if you decide not to take one with you, it means that you can't communicate with the rest of your team when they're far away. That is to say, if you're using the game's proximity voice chat, and you have every incentive to use the proximity voice chat, if only because there's a bunch of funny and or atmosphere building voice filters that are put on when you're speaking in certain circumstances in the game. And at the end of the day, any item you take with you is now taking up an inventory slot, one of your only 4 inventory slots. You take a walkie-talkie with you and that's one less item you can bring back to the ship in one trip. Specifically in regards to tools in horror games, I really like how horror games try to balance whatever tools it decides to give you. I could make a whole video about things like the guns in Resident Evil, for instance, and I plan to because there's not really any other feeling that can measure up to getting a new gun in a Resident Evil game, but that's a topic for some other video.
Oh, snare flea! I'm gonna kill it. Got him.
I heard that shit. I heard it scream.
Like any good horror game, you're pretty vulnerable when faced with any monster. That isn't to say that there isn't counterplay though. Look, the game has a bestiary for a reason. When you come across a new creature and don't know what it does, your first experience is to probably go, what the hell is that? And maybe one of your friends can give you an idea of what it does. But if they also don't know, then you can right click to scan it and get an inkling of information as to what, at the very least, you're not supposed to do. All the monsters are pretty varied too. Different levels of threat for each one of them, and a good handful are locked away until you get to the harder planets. And keep in mind that any combination of monsters can also appear, further adding to the overall panic factor when you come across one or several of them. The best part about it, or worse depending on how you see it, is that there might not be a solution. That's kind of why the game is meant to be played in multiplayer, because you might just be straight up fucked.
This is not gonna be a problem. Please don't. I think I watched something funny happen. Oh my goodness.
You wanna see something funny?
Yeah, Aaron's definitely dead. And Ian, be careful if you go main entrance.
I'm not coming back in.
Yeah, I might be fucked here. Because I can't get Aaron's loot.
Molly!
I like spectating when I'm dead and just imagining that whatever my friends are going through is like a scuffed B-movie horror flick. Like, I don't know, it's just really funny to see them being scared, and now that I'm already dead, I'm already safe, so, you know. Ow.
We need to teleport someone back. I don't know who died, but someone just died.
That's the rudest fuck, enemy.
The burrito.
Oh no! 2 people died! Oh
He found me.
no! Oh shit! Let me get the bodies out.
I can't believe he's alive.
Howdy.
Joey found his way back.
Nice.
Joey!
Jay!
Joey!
Get in!
Holy fucking god!
I can't believe you made it. I was watching the entire time.
Holy shit, dude!
I was fucking lost!
Alright, maybe we don't use the motherfucker.
I was fucking lost. I got the fire exit.
Ship upgrades are also a purchase that you can make. A lot of them are just cosmetic, but namely the teleporter and inverse teleporter have their own separate uses and also their own risks. The teleporter can take a player outside of the building and into the ship at any point, whether or not they're dead. This is useful because corpses, when retrieved to the ship, will lessen the fees that the team will incur, and the inverse teleporter works the opposite way, where it will teleport you inside the building, but in a random location. Both teleporters will not let you take any items with you, so you're either running in blind, or you retrieved your friend and or just their body. It's more of the same mindful design that even goes into something like a teleporter, which sounds like it should obviously just help you. But yeah, I think that might be everything I wanted to cover in this video. I didn't get into too many specifics because if I did, it would just spoil everything and that would be stupid. But yeah, as I keep saying, the game is tightly designed and it understands what it wants to be very well, I think. I'd like to recommend Lethal Company to anybody who just wants to play a funny horror game with their friends, because it can be funny. It's also terrifying. Let it be known that this game also has updates pushed out pretty regularly, so new content, whatever that's gonna look like, will keep coming out, and I for one look forward to just about anything the game can throw at me at this point, whether it be good or just straight up bad. And again, it's only $10, so I don't know. I think it's neat.